Hi everybody. This video is going to be about algebraic expressions and what are they. You will need this piece of paper and also this piece of paper. So one little square looking sheet and then also one with some examples on it to use. Okay, so the directions are to fold on the dashed lines and cut on the solid lines. And then we're going to glue this in, but we're going to do it last. So first, let's just go ahead and fold it. So where you see the dots, that's where you're going to fold it. And it makes a sort of matchbook. It's kind of a cool little foldable. So you're going to fold it like this. And you're also going to fold it like this. So this part folds up. So this will be the last part that you fold. So it looks like this. And then when you want to read it, you just open it up and look, and there you go. Okay? So let's start with what in the world is an algebraic expression. That's this word right here, algebraic expression. And so we're just going to write this right here in this little section. If you open it up, find this definition, and we are going to write an algebraic expression is a math sentence that does not have an equal sign. So without an equal sign. So a math sentence without an equal sign. That's an algebraic expression, okay? So it's an expression if it doesn't have an equal sign. That's all we got to know. The next thing we need to know about is the word term. And a term is each item that is separated by plus or minus signs. Each item separated by the plus or the minus sign. Let's say or here. Sign. Okay? So an expression is separated into terms, and a term is separated by the plus or minus signs. So if we're talking about an expression in language, that's a sentence, and then in each sentence it has words. And so the parts of an expression are called terms. Okay? Alright, so now let's talk about 3x plus 4. Now I'm going to use a bunch of different colored highlighters right now. Okay? And all of these things have names. So 3, that 3 in this expression is called a coefficient. And a coefficient is just the number, that's the number sign. It's just the number in front of the variable or the letter. Okay, so that 3, sorry you couldn't even see that while I was writing, that's terrible. So that 3 is my coefficient. It's the number in front of the variable or the letter. Okay? So I'm going to make this a 3 right here. That's the coefficient. Okay? Alright, now we've got the variable. That's x. X is the variable. Okay, so we're going to come in here. A variable is just a letter that represents an unknown number. A letter that represents an unknown number. Okay, so we have x. Three x. 3 is the coefficient, x is the variable. Next up, we're going to talk about operation. I'm going to use green for that. Operation is add, subtract, multiply, and divide. An operation is add, subtract, multiply, and divide. That is an operation. So in this expression, the operation was plus. And lastly, we have a constant. Okay, constant. So here our constant is 4. I just colored it orange, but it's going to take a couple of seconds to focus. So the constant is orange. And a constant is literally just a number without a letter. So the constant on this problem is 4. And you can't really see the x here, so I'm going to make it blue. 3x plus 4. Okay, so the 3 is a coefficient, the x is a variable, the plus sign is an operation, and the constant is a 4. This is called an algebraic expression, and it has 2 terms. Remember, it says a term is each item separated by a plus or minus sign. So what you do is you separate it by a plus or a minus sign. So everything gets the symbol before it. So this is a term, and then this one is also a term. So this has 2 terms. The first term is 3x, and the second term is 4. Okay? So let's talk about some of that down here in this other page. So, oh, I forgot. We're supposed to cut this. So let's go ahead and cut this so we can use it. You just cut on the solid lines, just on the top, not the whole thing, so that it's just got little flappies. Okay. Alright, so the first thing that you're going to do when we do these examples is you're going to separate it into how many terms there are. So you're going to look and you're going to go, okay, here is a minus sign, so I'm going to draw a line to separate it. And here is another addition or subtraction. We only do it with addition and subtraction, so we're going to draw another line to separate it. And then you draw a box around it, and you see how many squares are in my box. I have 3. So how many terms do I have? I have 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. Okay? What are the variables? So if you forget, let's see, a variable is a letter that represents a number. So they're the letters, right? So the variables are x and y. What are the coefficients? Well, the coefficients are, let's see, the number in front of the letter. So the coefficients are 5. Now we have to say -6 and +2. Always put whether it's a positive or negative. And then in this case, what are the constants? So let's look and see. Do we have this 4 here? That was our constant, right? It's a number without a letter. Does this problem have any numbers without letters? No. So there are none. So we just say none. Okay? Alright, example 2. Let's box it up and separate it. So there's a minus sign here, so we'll draw a line before it. And then there's a plus sign here, so we're going to draw a line before it. So how many terms does this one have? It has 2. What are the variables? Well, remember, a variable is a letter without a number. So the variable is w. What's the coefficient? The coefficient is the number in front of the variable. So that's going to be +3. And what are the constants? Remember, the constant is the number that does not have a letter. So that's going to be that -7. Okay? Should be pretty simple, right? Okay, in example 3, how many terms are there? Okay, so we're going to box it up, and we're going to separate it by addition and subtraction. So there's a subtraction sign, there's the addition sign, and there's the addition sign. So we're going to put the line before we write it. And so how many terms are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 terms. What are the variables? Variables, remember, are the letters. So the letter is K. What are the coefficients? This one is 4. This one is 8. And this one doesn't have a number in front of it. So when it doesn't have a number in front of it, it's always going to be a 1. So it's going to be an imaginary 1 hiding in front of this letter K right here. So this is always an imaginary 1. Okay? So there's a 1, so that means that coefficient is a 1. If there is a letter, then there is a coefficient. Okay, so if there's no number, then you have to say that the coefficient is 1. And what are the constants? That's going to be -6. Okay. All right, you do example 4. And the answer to example 4, if we split it up, we've got 4 terms. The variable is g. The coefficients are -4g. So -4, and then here there's a 1 hiding because there's nothing in front of it, so -1. That's also an imaginary 1. And then the constants are 15 and also -6. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.